Good morning, and welcome to worship with White Bear Lake United Methodist Church online. I'm Pastor Christine Ford, and I'm leading worship today with Pastor Bill Eves, and it is a joy to be in community with you today. This is the first Sunday of Lent, the season in which we prepare our hearts and our minds, our bodies and our souls, and we journey towards the cross with Jesus. We prepare ourselves in anticipation of his death, his resurrection, and the death and resurrection that happens within ourselves. This Lent, we are taking an opportunity to examine a set of virtues in new ways. They are the seeds of goodness that we plant to grow into beautiful plants, which can nourish the hungers of our personal lives, our spiritual lives, the lives of our community. It is the vision and mission of this church to provide for the hungers of life. And we trust that as we worship together, God is moving among us, nourishing us in mind, in body, in soul, so that we can go out into the world and be light and salt and nourish the hungers we encounter around us. Come, let us be in worship together.
Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Oh, taste and see the goodness of the Lord, of the Lord. I will bless the Lord at all times. Praise shall always be on my lips. My soul shall glory in the Lord. For God has been so good to me. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Oh, taste and see the goodness of the Lord, of the Lord. Glorify the Lord with me. Together let us all praise God's name. I called the Lord and he answered me. From all my troubles I was set free. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Oh, taste and see the goodness of the Lord, of the Lord. Worship the Lord, all you people. You'll want for nothing if you ask. Taste and see that the Lord is good. In God we need put all our trust. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Oh, taste and see
Our scripture reading is from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, but then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love.
Will you pray with me? Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable in your holy sight, O God, my rock and my salvation. Amen. For the season of Lent, we will be exploring a series of virtues, a series of characteristics, character qualities. We're calling them our seeds of goodness. They're things that we plant in our hearts, and we can reap goodness from them. They are things that many of us have heard of, but many of us have not necessarily reimagined them in fresh ways, and in ways that are very relevant for our world today. The virtue for today is kindness. And when I realized that it was for today, I was really excited, because I need to show myself a little kindness today. I am sitting here in the church library for no reason other than it's really comfy. I have my coziest of hoodies. My hair has some little flyaways. I'm drinking tea, Moroccan mint, the greatest of all teas. And I haven't done my makeup or my nails. And I'm not saying that things like makeup and nails or wearing a more professional attire, I'm not saying those things are unkind. It's a kindness I show myself to get to play with pretty colors that I enjoy. It's a kindness to feel ready for work in the mornings. My office is a kindness too. But it's been a really hectic week. We have had Ash Wednesday and the start of Lent here at the church. And in my own home, we've had the Pinewood Derby this week. The kindness I needed to show myself wasn't the putting off of things that I genuinely like, but rather it was the slowness that I allowed myself. The extra 20 minutes I slept this morning instead of putting on a full face. The coziness of my hoodie, the warmth of my tea. I'm even working from notes today, just in an attempt to show myself some grace. Let's just take a moment and give ourselves a moment to just breathe. Be kind to yourself in this moment too. Let's give ourselves a moment to let our weary bodies relax, enjoy the cushions and the tea. One of the things, as we've gone through and learned a little bit about the virtues that we'll be exploring, is I've learned some really interesting roots of words. And kindness is the one that surprised me the most. I had always assumed that kindness came from some ancient word in some ancient language, because English is really like 3 languages in a trench coat trying to be one language. But I had always assumed that the root meant something to do with being nice. It doesn't. The root word of kind is kin. Kin as in family. Kin as in togetherness and as in sameness, in oneness. To say that we are kind to each other is to say we treat each other like family. In the prayers recorded from Old English, people used to pray to our Kinda Lord, Kinda being the old word for kind. Our kind Lord. I like that. It speaks to us having a communion with God, a kindness and an alikeness. It speaks to God being like us and us being like God. It's unfortunate that in our modern parlance, we tend to use kind as a bit of a throwaway word. We tend to just sprinkle it in. Whenever anyone does something nice for someone, they say, "Oh, that's kind." Whenever we need an adjective for someone who we maybe find pleasant enough but not terribly colorful, we tend to resort to the word kindness. If you're my age or older, you might remember the phrase, "Be kind, rewind." If you're a Gen Z, you'll just have to Google that one. We use the word so easily and attach it to things so often that it just has come to mean the most basic of courtesies. The bar is set on the ground. But kindness as a virtue is so much bigger than that. How do we show kindness typically? In American culture, we tend to talk about the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's a good start. Yeah, we should do that. To be clear, we should do that. But there's something about that phrase that feels transactional. And at its worst, it could be interpreted as entitled. It's an unfortunate truth that some people will only be nice when they're assuming that they will be reciprocated one-to-one. I have done this for you. What will you do for me? We ask not what we can do for our country, but what our country can do for us. We ask more than just our country that sometimes. We engage in random acts of kindness. Again, that's a good thing. It's a nice way to tell people that you're thinking of them, or a nice way to tell a stranger that you just want to see the world be a little bit brighter. You know, A random act of kindness can be anything as from holding the door for someone, making a plate of cookies for a neighbor. It can be closing someone's gas cap. Someone did that for me the other day. I just looked up and realized it was being closed while I was at the gas station. It was a small gesture that someone did that just made me smile. And that's a way we can show kindness. It's a way to show that we want other people to have good days, too. Let us remember to do it for that reason. Not to store up brownie points. Not so that other people will do you another favor someday down the line. Unless you're moving, then all bets are off. There is a motivational speaker who has a large online presence, and I really enjoy her content. Her name is Christina Kuzmic, and she has spoken out about the difference between being kind and being nice. Christina is conventionally very beautiful, and because of that, she receives a fair bit of harassment. When she publicly called out the behavior of a person, she was accused of not being very nice. She reposted a comment that someone had publicly made on a social media platform, and she received criticism. People said it would have been kind of her to not publish it, even though he had done it himself. In that moment, she went on, though, to explain that while maybe it wasn't nice, it was kind. She was trying to use the moment educationally. Whether you agree with what she did or not, kindness is about helping people into right relationship. Kindness is saying, we are one. Let us treat each other as such. In the case of Christina, it was, we are one. Don't speak to me in a way that makes me less than you. A great act of kindness. How does God show kindness to us? How are we one with our Kinder Lord? And how do we act that shows God to others? We can try to lead a life that lives into the example set by Jesus Christ, who showed his oneness with God in ways mere pastors can't even imagine. We are deeply human, and God is God. And those two things are not alike. God has shown us the greatest kindness of all. That even to the depths of humanity, God has freely offered the gift of salvation, desiring us to be in full communion, in oneness, and in sameness with God's self. In short, to be kin. It is the greatest act of kindness the world has ever known. Let us hold on to that this Lent. As we walk with Jesus towards the cross, the revelation of our salvation, let us hold on to that act of kindness and let us perpetuate it. We are all kin. May it be so. Amen.
our genders unequal. But love crushes every design. The world lets our colors divide us. But love makes the rainbow its sign. The world arms with guns and with weapons. But love is the conquering release. The world often hungers for violence. But love always thirsts for peace. Let's see what love can do to mend a broken world. Let's see what love can do to mend a broken world. The world shuns the immigrant's hunger, but love feeds the poor refugee. The world argues they're not my children, but love says my child come to me. Let's see what love can do to mend a broken world. Let's see what love can do to mend a
Please join me now as we pray. God of faithfulness, your love is patient. We give you thanks for all those who have been patient with us and have taught and cared for us. And we pray for the patience to love others as you have loved us. Your love is kind. Give us the courage to be kind to others and to respond out of that kindness even toward those who are unkind, rude, difficult to love, or our enemies. Your love is not pompous. Give us insight to speak the truth in love and not out of a need to appear clever or to be right. Your love does not seek its own interests. We thank you and pray for those who serve the poor and those in need, who give tirelessly of themselves and who have much work to do. Your love bears all things. We remember before you those who carry heavy burdens and many cares, who have much stress and too little comfort and help. Open our eyes to those around us and their needs, and give us the wisdom to offer help without prying or a sense of superiority. Your love never fails, O God. Even death does not limit the breadth and depth of your love. And we thank you for those we love in this life, who now dwell with you and in the joy of your presence. Let your comfort settle on those who are bereaved or who are lonely today. O God of peace, be with the people of Ukraine, with the mothers who carry babies to subway shelters, with the fathers who hold their heads in their hands, with the children who absorb the traumas. Tend the aching and soothe the fearful, and make us instruments of your peace. We ask this in the name of him who is the Prince of Peace, as we pray, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you for worshiping with us today. We would love to talk to you, to meet you, to be in community. If you're local to us, you can join us on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. or 10:45. And whether you're local or not, we can be in touch virtually. You can find us at our website at wblumc.org. You can find our contact info, our schedules, more about the vision and mission of our church, and how we work in the world. You can also find us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And now, friends, may the peace of Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the power of the Holy Spirit go with you now and always in kindness. Amen.